and today we're going to do a seed stitch. This simple seed stitch is just a single crochet and a chain. I was using Craft Smart yarn from Michaels. This is a very easy number 4 weight yarn. I chose 3 colors: charcoal, mushroom, and you can see it's all a number 4 weight, medium weight yarn, and I also used white. I made a baby blanket, but today we're just going to do a sample piece and show you how to do this lovely stitch. So you're going to need a 5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, and some scissors. So let's get started on this great stitch. You can do any project you want with this and make it any size. So let's start with the slip knot. My first color I'm going to use is blue. We can start by doing a chain. Make an even amount of stitches until you have reached your desired size. I have 20 chains just for our demonstration. We can then start with a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. We will then chain 1, skip the next stitch, and do a single crochet in the next. And then we will repeat, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. Repeat, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. I will meet you at the end of the row. Here we are at the end, and you should end with a single crochet. So we skipped 1. So before we do our last single crochet, we are going to stop and change colors. So I'm going to add in a white. So we will finish the single crochet with the new color. We're then going to chain 1, but we're going to carry the blue yarn up. So just loop the blue yarn over the white, and then we will chain 1 with our white. We're just bringing this yarn color up so we never have to cut our ends. We just carry through the whole project. So then we can chain 1 and turn. We will then start with a single crochet in the first stitch. So starting in that very first stitch, single crochet. We will then single crochet in the chain space. So right in there, we're going to do a single crochet in that chain space. There is not a chain in between those 2 stitches. From here, we will chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the chain space. And repeat, chain 1, skip, and single crochet in the chain space. And when we can repeat this to the end. So we started with 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and then had our pattern. When we end the row, we will end with 2 single crochet. So the first one will be in the chain space, and we will put 1 single crochet in the last single crochet. Again, do not finish this stitch. We will bring in our third color. Finish the single crochet with gray. We will now carry the white yarn up. Put the white yarn over the gray to carry the yarn up, and we will chain 1 with our new color with the gray. Chain 1 and turn. We can then leave the white yarn. For our next row, we will start in the very first stitch. So single crochet in the first stitch. This is a repeat of row 1. We will then chain 1 and single crochet in the chain space and repeat. Our row 1 and our row 2 are different and we will alternate. So this row, continue down, single crochet, chain 1, and we'll continue down to the end. So single crochet in the chain space, chain 1, repeat. Make sure when you're inserting your hook into the chain space that it is always in the space and not in the stitch. I grabbed the stitch here. You can see it went through the stitch. That is wrong. So let me just take this out and always make sure that you're in the space. So looking for the space and not the stitch. So in there for our single crochet. Your stitches need to be in between to make it the nice pattern. So working to the end of the row, we're going to do a single crochet in that last chain space, chain 1, and a single crochet in the last stitch. So remember to stop part way for that stitch. You will see that the beginning of each row and the end of each row will start and finish the same. Here I started with 1 and a chain, and I will end that way. Let's bring up the blue yarn. So we will drop the gray. Bringing up our blue yarn, make sure that you have your ends sorted out. So these are my beginning yarn. I don't want those, so we'll just put them on the side. And it's the blue yarn. So we're going to put the blue yarn to finish our single crochet. But we will carry the gray up. So before we do our chain 1 turn, we're going to carry the gray, and with the blue, chain 1 and turn. With the blue yarn, we will now repeat row 2. So leave the gray yarn, start in the first stitch with a single crochet. Each row will start with a single crochet in the first stitch, but this time we're going to put a single crochet in the next chain space. So in that chain space, so this row will start with 2 single crochet and end with 2 single crochet. Your rows will alternate, starting with 1, 2, 1, then 2, and it just continues. So this one's starting with 2 and ending with 2. So chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the chain space. I will meet you at the end of the row where we will do 2 single crochet at the end. When you have reached the end, a single crochet will go into the chain space and a single crochet into the last stitch. And again, we will stop partway through the stitch. Stop here. We will now pull up our white yarn. You can see the gray is our starting yarn. That's not the one we want. So finish the stitch with the white yarn. And again, before we do our chain 1 and turn, we're going to carry the blue yarn up. Bring the blue yarn above the white, and then we can chain one and turn. When we do the chain one and turn, you'll have to reorganize your yarn. So what you really want to have is your yarn you're working on, and then you'll have one yarn on one side, and you'll have one color on the other side. Just ignore those beginning ends. Let's continue with this white yarn. Again, always starting in the first stitch with a single crochet. And this will be a row 1 repeat. So single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet in the chain space. And now you have reached the end where we put one single crochet in that last space. Stopping partway through the single crochet, pulling up our next color of yarn, which will be gray. So finish the stitch with gray. Bring our white yarn over to carry up. So bringing it over the gray and doing a chain 1 turn with our gray. You will then just need to adjust your yarns a little bit, and we continue with a row 2. You can now see how pretty this is with 3 colors. Starting this row with a row 2, single crochet in the first, single crochet in the next, and then the pattern, chain 1 and single crochet. Finishing our row the same as we started with 2 single crochet, 1 in the chain and 1 in the last stitch. Of course, the last stitch going in and finishing it by pulling up the other yarn. So pulling up our blue and finishing the stitch. Then carry the gray yarn over. So put the gray over the blue. And doing the chain 1 and turn. Now you can start to see how our edge looks. By carrying the yarn up, it keeps it all nice tucked in on the edge. We'll now do a row 1 repeat, so always leaving your other color behind. And starting with the blue and a row 1. With a single crochet in the first and a chain 1. So it's quite simple to do these row 1 and row 2 repeat with our 3 different colors. As you can see on the sample piece here, we're always dealing with 3 yarns. One will be on one side, one on the other, and one you're working with. Just ignore these starting ends. Then each row will alternate, row 1 and 2. So with 1 on the edge and 1 on the other edge, and then there'll be 2. So 2 single crochet on each edge, and then alternating back to row 1, and then go to row 2, then row 1, then row 2, row 1. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned something new today and enjoy making this beautiful stitch. Don't forget to put a single crochet edge along your blanket, and I also just did a slip stitch along the edge. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.